Hey guys, in this episode I'm going to talk pretty vaguely and generally about Rick and Morty, specifically the new episode. So if you haven't seen the new episode that came out on May 3rd, I believe, May 3rd, you shouldn't watch this. I can't imagine anyone's actually watching this right now that hasn't seen that episode yet. But if you haven't seen the episode on May 3rd, then there's spoilers ahead. But in any case, Rick and Morty is probably one of my favorite adult cartoon style shows. I like it more than Family Guy, Simpsons, Futurama, South Park, like all those. That order I just gave is probably the inverse order of how much I like those cartoons, by the way. Where my favorite is Rick and Morty, then South Park, then Futurama. Simpsons, Family Guy is like the core main shows. There's a lot of our little ones in there that I enjoy a lot. Like there was a new one on Netflix, Enchantment, which I would probably filter somewhere under, probably right above Simpsons, but below Futurama, if that makes sense. It's very, very similar style to Futurama. Bob's Burgers would probably rank somewhere right around where Futurama is, maybe a smidge below it, but above Enchantment. So just a general gist. I like those shows a lot, but out of all of them, Rick and Morty is probably my favorite just because it's the most clever so far. And part of this episode that disappointed me was that the storylines and stuff were very bland and disconnected and uncoordinated, which sometimes is the theme of the show, that everything's supposed to be kind of a mess, but that's part of what makes it what it is and makes it so interesting, is that there's a lot of twists and turns and all that. But in this episode specifically, it was just a hodgepodge of little mini episodes, and I believe the purpose behind that was that every single season of Rick and Morty that comes out with new episodes, there is a ton of people that do a deep dive analysis on things they picked up from the trailers and little bits and pieces of news and blurbs and insider leaks that they hear from the industry about Rick and Morty, just to try and piece together what the storyline might be for the upcoming episodes. So in the most recent trailer for this new season, there's a ton of little snippets of scenes and stuff. And in the first episode, we found out that pretty much all those snippets of scenes came from the first episode, because the first episode was just snippets of scenes. That's all the first episode was a mess hodgepodge of different scenes that people have been waiting for such as like Evil Morty and having more stuff with, I forget her name, but Birdman's wife that's friends with Summer, that whole like war kind of thing. They had more on that kind of fell off after Rick and his whole family and stuff tried to fly and find a new planet, that whole thing. So yeah, that was their purpose. So I understand it. I understand why they did what they did, but overall the episode itself was very uneventful, I guess you could say, in the sense of it didn't help the story along. It didn't have a storyline overall at all, really. It hit on some of the main themes of Rick and Morty, of like knocking down public or societal norms and societal values and desires, such as money and fame and fortune, whatever. But yeah, overall, probably one of the lesser episodes we've seen of Rick and Morty in a long time. When you compare it to some of the great episodes like the Purge-based episode and all of that, it just wasn't great, but I think it was purposefully put in there to throw people off. So I'm willing to definitely give them some leeway. They've had 3.5 fantastic seasons of shows so far, so it would be very difficult for me to just knock them down after one episode of a second half of a season. This first half of the fourth season wasn't fantastic either, but again, after 3 seasons of doing fantastic work, I'm going to give them some leeway, hope that they wrap it back around, bring it back to something that we can all enjoy a lot more. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll wrap up the video here. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode.